Welcome back to Jazzy's Corner Stories. I'm Jazzy and I will be reading you stories as you go about your merry day. So grab that drink, find your comfort, or embrace the hustle of the day and enjoy the stories I have for you. Let's introduce the cast of characters and hopefully make things clearer. There's me and my SO. There's my cousin 1, their SO, and their 2 children ranging in age from 7-9. My aunt. My other cousin 2. My other cousin 3 and his son who is 18. Cousin 2 and 3 are siblings. To help make things clearer, we will call cousin 1 Dick, cousin 2 Tom, and cousin 3 Harry. We are all 40 and over. All have jobs except for the kids, the 18-year-old and the aunt, who is retired. We've decided to plan a family reunion for 4 nights, 5 days. Cousin 2 Tom paid $1,500 for the cabin and left the planning and buying of food to me, and cousin 1 Dick has not helped financially at all. That has left me and my SO to buy the food. Because I knew it would fall on us for several months now, we've been buying food little by little when we buy our groceries. We estimate we will spend close to $1,000 when it's all said and done. We aren't planning elaborate meals, but buying food for 10 people for 11 meals adds up. Tom is well aware that Dick isn't helping with the food and that it's just me and my SO paying. Tom continually reminds me that we have an 18-year-old man coming and he eats a lot, and that we need to make sure we have enough for him. I explained I bought a package of 40 hamburger patties. Even if all 10 people eat 2 hamburgers apiece, there will 20 hamburger patties left. I also said we're planning on 5 pounds of ground beef for spaghetti and another 5 pounds for chili. There will also be sides like rice or salad or cornbread or garlic bread. I've planned like that for every meal. Plus, there will be bread and peanut butter and jelly and cereal. I can't imagine there won't be leftovers that he can eat if he gets hungry. He's still insisting that's not enough food and we should buy a couple of rotisserie chickens, and cousin 3 suggested we buy ramen for his 18-year-old son. Harry and his son haven't not financially contributed even a penny towards this, nor do they have plans to pay for anything. I'm flatly refusing to buy extra food, and after the 10 text message, I finally told Tom that since Harry and his son were getting a free vacation, if the food provided isn't enough, then he can starve. I might have also called them moochers to have the gall to suggest foods that I could buy for them. So am I the asshole for being stubborn and refusing to buy something as cheap as ramen? Update 1/19/2022. Harry won't Venmo me money, won't buy stuff on his own. Constant excuses. Last night, he messaged me and the cousin that paid for the cabin and said he wanted to invite more people. The cousin that paid for the cabin said no, was actually polite about it. I've seen the texts. Harry is flipping out because Tom said no. I'm just dumbfounded at this point. I don't have a lot of family left. That's why I was biting my tongue about the ones not paying towards this trip. But I'm just shocked that someone who hasn't contributed a dime to a trip thinks they can invite 4 other people and gets upset when told no. Update 2/27/2022. Our weekend is almost over. The last of the family leaves tomorrow, so I figured now would be a great time to give you guys the update. Well, the cousin that wanted to bring extra people did not bring them. And he actually bought groceries. There was a group list going, and he stopped before he got to the cabin and bought everything that was on the list that hadn't been bought yet. Then 2 days later, we had to make a grocery run for more food. Several people had the munchies, and that was a decent bill, and he paid that. He also helped with the cooking and cleaning. So in my eyes, he pulled his own weight. Harry and Dick spent the entire time high and drunk, but they weren't annoying. So while I personally don't see the point of what they did, I'm not gonna complain. Plus, we'd wake up in the morning and he always made something like cookies or prepped food for the day. And he was great at emptying and refilling the dishwasher. Only 1 kid came. We had a blast with said kid. My SO had fun as well. For me, I was pleasantly surprised. I had a great time and it was really neat to see my daddy and my cousins. From mannerisms to facial features, to the one cousin who was covered in fur from head to toe. It's been hard on me since my dad died, and for reason that would fill a book I didn't grow up with this side of the family. So I had a great time reconnecting with them. We had a family meeting where we came up with a budget and how much each person needed to contribute to keep this thing going. The plan is to do the same next year. I'm supposed to call tomorrow to see about reserving the cabin for next year. Update 3 December 9th, 2022. We are trying to make this a yearly tradition. We've gotten together the last 2 years and no one has killed someone, so we're trying for a 3RD time. On a cruise ship, this time ominous music plays. The place we stayed at the last 2 times doesn't have any openings for the next 2 years. So after trying Airbnbs that charge a heck of a lot for a place big enough for us, I finally say screw it, we're looking at cruises. And wouldn't you know there's a fairly cheap one that aligns with the dates we can go? Somehow it all fell on me to organize it. And it's like herding cats. I need specific info from each person going. And we're up to 10 people. And group emails and texts go unanswered, so I have to individually harass each person to get very basic info like birth dates, full names, and email addresses. Finally gave an ultimatum that worked. Give me your info today or you're not going. And finally, miraculously, I got everyone's info. I'm so impressed with myself, I'm going to reward myself with a nice margarita tonight. Or maybe something stronger. We've divided the cabins up basically by households. If you live with or came out of the body of a specific someone, that's who you're gonna be in a cabin with. And this is the part you guys are waiting for. The entitled person aspect to this and why I decided to give this update. I chose the cheapest cabins for all but one cabin. The more expensive cabin will entirely be paid for by the people occupying it. One of the cheap cabins may not get to go. No one else is footing the bill. Those 2 people occupying it are responsible for their portion. If they can't pay, they don't go and no one else is penalized. They know this. They have 10 months to come up with the price of their cabin. It will be a struggle. The struggle is entirely due to poor financial management. One of the persons in the cabin who may not get to go is asking to switch roommates in cabins with the more expensive cabin. The same person that did not contribute ANYTHING to the last reunion. Not even cleaning up, cooking, organizing. Nada. And they think they are going to weasel their way into a free cruise. Not gonna happen. Update 4 September 10, 2023. It was a mess getting all the info needed to book the cabins. But we did. The entitled aunt tried to switch rooms with someone else who has a suite, while only paying the inside cabin rate. That was shot down immediately. One cabin fell through, so those 2 will not be joining us. There was a breakup, and then the other person couldn't afford to pay for the cruise. Everyone else is paid for, and everyone paid for their own cabin. It did come down to literally the last moment. I expected the entitled aunt to have to drop out, but she somehow found the money. All but one cabin has bought the drink package. The cabin that can't afford to buy the drink package thinks they can buy wine, pour it out and fill it with something stronger. We shall see if that is smuggled on board. Feel free to take bets on that. Another cabin wants to smuggle pot on board even though they are well aware of the drug dogs at the port. That cabin plans to vacuum seal it. Feel free to take bets on if that cabin gets caught. My cabin will get on that ship whether the others do or not. And I plan to spend the majority of the cruise drunk if the others do actually make it on board. And thinking of getting everyone Yeti cups, or maybe a tote bag with some sort of phrase to commemorate this year's family vacation. Update 5 October 31, 2023. So one thing I purposely failed to mention in my other posts is that I have another vacation planned for my SO. And I write before we go on this cruise. As in, we come home, have about enough time to wash clothes and repack before we have to leave to go on the cruise. Oh, and didn't I mention the first vacation is overseas, so it takes a bit more planning than a US vacation? We leave in a few days for that vacation. I'm also still working 45 plus hours a week up until the day we leave, so I don't have a lot of time to devote to the cruise. I've made that clear to everyone going on the cruise. Since we're a bit less than a month from the cruise, we can check in, and I'm trying to coordinate that with everyone and having a tough time doing that. Texts go unanswered. I'm to the point I simply don't care any longer. I checked my SO and IN and that's it. I have spent a week trying to coordinate time since we are supposed to carpool there. But I'm done trying to get people to answer my fucking texts. And here's where you guys that have read this far are looking for. The juicy stuff. The drama stuff. Back when we planned this cruise, everyone told me they had a passport. I thought that was the end of that. I didn't think I needed to investigate further into that. Unfortunately, I should have. So I explained to one how to check in online and mentioned having your passport handy so you can enter that info. Said person then takes that moment to inform me that their passport is expired. They also have no clue where their birth certificate is. At this point, said person may not be getting on the cruise. Luckily for them, they live in the state they were born in, and the state capital is just a few hours from their home. So I sent them a link to set up an appointment in person to get their birth certificate. I have not followed up with them to find out if they made the appointment or found their birth certificate. I'm officially done for this year trying to corral everything. I have gone above and beyond for a freaking year now, and I have no fucks left to give. Who wants to take bets on if the one with the expired passport gets on the ship? Update 6 November 27, 2023. This will be my final update this year. Well, we are back from both, so now it's time for the updates. Our trip overseas was amazing. We got to spend time at a hotel that has amazing views of Mount Fuji, and we stayed at a ryokan with our own private hot spring. Absolutely amazing and picture perfect, and we will be going back. We got home. I had about enough time to wash clothes and repack before we got on the boat. So all of us live in the same state, some closer than others. The ones that live about 10 hours away started out Tuesday and spent the night in my town so we could carpool to the cruise terminal. The ones that live about 5 hours away decided to drive down the day of. They headed out about 4 a.m. Thanksgiving Day and met us at a place open Thanksgiving Day. And that's when they dropped the bomb on us. One of the persons in their party did not remember to pack their passport, and they didn't have their birth certificate. Yes, it is the same group that I mentioned before whose passport was expired. Same group, different person. That person, miraculously, found their birth certificate so they were golden. We drive down to the cruise terminal, help everyone with their luggage, and boy was there a lot of luggage. And one went to ask about the whole passport situation. He came back to let us know that the person that forgot their passport absolutely would not be allowed on the cruise. Said person had every opportunity to upload their passport ahead of time, and had they done that, they would have been allowed to sail. But nope, said person did not do it. So we watched 2 from our group board the bus back to the parking lot to retrieve their vehicle and head home. No temper tantrums, no blaming me, at least not yet. They're trying to get future cruise credit for their missed cruise, but it's not looking good. The rest of us got on the ship. And that's where the fun began. All of us have been on cruises before, so we knew what to expect, but nothing prepared us for this trip. This was a 5-day cruise on a small, older ship that wasn't laid out very well. Especially in a post-COVID world. People had no concept of personal space anywhere. Not on the elevators, not in line for the buffet, not in line for coffee, not sitting at a table. They also had no concept of cleaning up after themselves or even flushing a friggin' toilet. Plates of half-eaten food in the stairwells next to the art pieces. Half-drunk drinks all over the railings. Dirty tissues in the elevators. People, adults and kids, not covering their mouths when they sneeze or cough. Had a kid that looked to be about 7 cough directly on my arm, and mom didn't apologize or even say anything to her heathen. Watched a lady smack the absolute shit out of another lady right by the service desk, and they did nothing. For a moment I thought we were at Walmart. This was not the experience any of us has had on past cruises, so it was a total surprise to us. And on to only bit of family drama that actually made it on the ship. The one cousin that planned to bring edibles did apparently bring them and decided to eat 1 or 2 gummies and also literally drink all night long and into the morning of embarkation while not sleeping the last night we were on the ship. Made for a not pleasant embarkation trying to track his ass down to get off the ship. And I'm already planning the next family cruise. Hopefully people will be more prepared for the next cruise. That is the finale of the entitled cousin and aunt saga. Thank you, LP, for sharing. Here are some comments from the post making fun of the escalating vacations and the ensuing drama. One commenter says, I feel like next year they need to escalate to renting a private island, and then the weird cousins go feral and start hunting each other for sport. One with knives. Another commenter replies, Netflix has already secured the rights to the documentary. Probably gets canceled before the hunting actually begins. Thank you for joining me today. Don't forget to connect with each other in the comments below. Until next time, be kind, be curious, and I'll catch you in the next video. Until then, Jazzy signing off.